Hello guys and welcome back to episode 2 of our Crystal Palace summer career mode. We return today after a very productive first episode which saw us sign Dan Ballard from Sunderland and pick up 4 points from our first 2 league games after Gabriel Martinelli's late equaliser for Arsenal in our previous game. In today's video we will close out the summer transfer window where I'm still looking to make one more signing and continue with the opening of the Premier League season. But before we get there, we've got our second round tie in the Carabao Cup against Stevenage, which should be a banker. Come on you Eagles. So I've made quite a few changes for this one here and given quite a lot of the youngsters a chance from the off. And with the Carabao Cup being obviously the second cup competition in England, everyone's main priority is of course the FA Cup. So I'm not really too fussed if we go out in the early rounds, even if it is a cup set. I'd expect us to win here today against Stevenage. But yeah, not too fussed if we go out early. So I've made quite a few changes into the second half here. Pretty quiet game so far, and I have got some experience out there, the likes of Rob Holding, Will Hughes in the middle of the park, and Nathaniel Klein and Schlupp as my wing back. So yeah, it's not a team of total kids out there, but so far we have not been able to find an opening. Here is Will Hughes from range. First time we've really tested the keeper, and the crowd getting up a little bit. Will Hughes will swing the corner in, looking for Edouard. What a huge save! And Ashby Hammond, the former Crawley loanee, jumps on the loose ball as well. Still 0-0 as we hunt for that opening. And it might come here. Nathaniel Klein bursting through into Edouard. Surely this time. Oh, what a save, Ashby Hammond. Richards beaten a little bit easily for my liking, as is Rob Holding. Shot comes in, and this time Johnston has to make the save. Our cup keeper getting the nod tonight over Dean. And still at 0-0 here. Oh, and Johnston forced into the save again. Stevenage sensing blood here. Corner floated in again. This time Raksaki will get it away. Edouard nods on to Matthias França. And look at the space for Jeff Schlupp if we can get him away down the left. Still Jeff Schlupp. And Schlupp in behind. Puts it wide. What a sitter. How are we not winning yet? Joel Ward. 4 minutes added on here. Edouard holds it up. Ozo into Jefferson Lerma. And Elise bursting through the middle. Surely Michael Elise off the bench wins it late on for Palace. And we will be heading to the third round of the Carabao Cup. We made hard work of it. Edouard and Schlupp had big opportunities, and neither of them could take them. Michael Elise off the bench, rescuing Crystal Palace at the death. Well, we just about scraped through there in the second round. Not the greatest of games, and if we play like that further into the competition, we won't be making it any deeper. But it is another EFL side in the next round, as we will host Southampton, the Championship side. Heading into our next league game, it's our second London derby of the season in our opening 3 games, as we travel to the G-Tech to take on Brentford. Looking for another 3 points here to continue our good start. Come on you Eagles. So looking to continue our 100% away record so far this season. Beat the Blades on match day 1, and we were so close to making it 2 wins from 2 until Gabriel Martinelli came up with that late equaliser for the Gunners, as Wharton fires the shot in early. Yeah, we've looked good going forward with that potent front 3. Yes, we were a little bit lacklustre in the week. Oh, Doucouré! Lacklustre in the week, but with our best 11 out there, I fancy us putting in a good shift against anyone in the league. And check Doucouré. What a way to score your first goal of the season. That is a fantastic strike from the midfielder. Ball Doucouré dispossessed. Ball into the middle. Shot comes in. It's off the woodwork. Let off for Palace. Second half underway here. Elise on the ball early. We've got to try and get the ball to him and Eberechi Eze as much as possible. At least for this first season, we're going to have that potent front 3. I'm not sure we'll have them for too long after, as this time Doucouré fires over the top. I expect there to be a lot of interest in all of our front three in the summer. In an attacking sense, in this second half, we've just not been on it. Not been able to create anything. And Brentford searching for that goal. Dangerous ball in. Owen and Burmo sliding in. It's just wide. And I think it took a touch off Tyrick Mitchell. Decore wins it back now. Edouard. Good hold-up play. Odds on Edouard. Well, that's probably going to do it, but can't get that second goal. But a clean sheet, our first of the season, will be enough to see us away from the G-Tech with all 3 points. 7 points from our opening 9. A fantastic start as Palace boss. And as I say, our first clean sheet of the season as well to build on. Heading into transfer deadline day now with still around 30 million in the budget. Time to make one final signing this summer. Well, as we get into transfer deadline day, we've had a couple of bids. Wolves want to take our backup keeper, Sam Johnston. Now, again, not necessarily against that, but he's a good backup for Dean Henderson. So for the time being, especially on deadline day, I'm going to keep him here. We've also had a loan bid for Will Hughes, but again, a decent squad player to have. So again, not looking to make major changes in this first summer window. However, I have delegated a loan for Joe Whitworth. Well, there is that loan deal going through for Joe Whitworth. He will head out to Turkey, as I say, for 2 years. Try and get him developed. He's third choice keeper here at the moment. So yeah, we're not gonna need him. Loan bid for Rob Holding. Again, no, we're not letting him go on loan. There was a bid for Nathaniel Klein from Brighton, but they've just withdrawn the offer. Sorry, no need to sell. He's been here for a long time. I don't see Nathaniel Klein upping to Brighton, especially as they're technically considered a rival of ours. And I say technically with a pinch of salt because, again, a lot of people sort of joke at the fact that it's considered a derby, the M23 derby. But a couple of big bids here, one for Tyrick Mitchell and one for Joachim Andersen, both from Premier League teams, especially the Newcastle one. Again, next summer I would consider, as they're playing European football. But for this first season, I've said it multiple times, we're going to be keeping the band together. But I have also said as well, with around 30 million left in the budget, we will look to make one more signing to close out the window. Still got quite a few names on the shortlist. I do like the idea of bringing Ben Sheaf in. He's a bit of an all-rounder, a bit of a hard worker. Dan Neil as well, but we've already signed one player from Sunderland, so I don't really want to gut their squad similar to Joe Bellingham and Jack Clark. But I do quite like the idea of bringing in Morgan Whittaker from Plymouth Argyle. He's a young left-footed right winger, and he had a fantastic season for the Argyle last campaign in the Championship. He's pretty quick, and as I say, as a young player, kind of learning under Michael Elise, who's a very similar player, I like the idea of bringing Morgan to Selhurst Park. Let's see if we can bring him in on the cheap. Yeah, again, I don't think we'll have to pay too much over that market valuation. We'll go in initially with 5 million. They want Mateus França, which is not going to happen. We'll go back with 5.5, and Plymouth are happy with that. For a Championship side who are probably one of the smaller clubs in the division, to get 5.5 million for a player with just 2 years left on his deal seems like a good bit of business, and I'm sure they will take the cash. Morgan Whittaker, yeah, do you know what? We'll give him the signing on bonus. He should accept that contract, and there we go. He is in and becomes our second signing of the season, both from the Championship, as he joins Dan Ballard, who joined from Sunderland earlier on in the window. Welcome to Selhurst Park. Yeah, I like that signing. I like it a lot. I think Morgan will get a decent amount of football here at Selhurst Park, and with Michael Elise likely to leave next window, he could be the long-term replacement for the Frenchman. But before we head into our next game here at home against Wolves, we have got our latest batch of scouting where we're still waiting for our first player to make the academy. And I think we're going to have our first player as well. A couple of good players here from England. I like the look of Elijah Giles. I'm going to give him one more month for now. But as you see here, Zachary Hurst Overall of 58 to 78 with a potential of 80 to 94 already. 3.5 million market valuation. He is going straight in the academy. As for Scotland, again, we'll keep scouting on... Oh, actually, Shane Maxwell looks very decent indeed. Shane Maxwell's going to get a scholarship and we'll keep the scouting on these two. And finally from Colombia, we'll keep the scouting on these two. Ruben, it's his second month worth of scouting, but Sal Mosquera could look very impressive indeed. We'll keep the scouting on these two, as I say. And as we take a look at the academy, well, Zachary Hurst looks absolutely fantastic. 17 years of age, already 67 overall, 73 dribbling, 80 curve and 81 ball control. Right-footed, 5-star skill moves and 4-star weak foot already. He looks fantastic. And Shane Maxwell also looking pretty decent out of the academy, and he looks like he could be a very decent box-to-box midfielder. So now outside of the summer transfer window, we'll try and pick up the pace as we now host Gary O'Neill's Wolves side at Selhurst Park. Unbeaten in our first 3 games and looking to continue our fantastic start against a struggling Wolves side. Come on, you Palace. Well, it's been a fantastic start for Palace, and quite often when a team flies out of the blocks like this, they go on to have a very successful campaign. Obviously, still a long way to go. It's very, very early doors. But if you can keep that form up going into sort of sloggy season, as we call it, then you've got every chance of making a good run for those European spots come the end of the campaign. As I said at the start of the season, my target is just to finish top 10. But if we can compete for Europe and maybe sneak in, then that will be considered a fantastic season for the Eagles. Lerma wins the header, still filling in on the right hand side of that back 3 for now and doing a very solid job there. Eze, oh, that's brilliant. Mateta shot blocked. Mateta again, and Elise behind for the corner. Lovely build up by Eze and Mateta. The corner swung in looking for Jean-Philippe Mateta, and that's a big save by King in the Wolves goal. Eze again from the other side looking for Mateta, and this time the Wolves shot stopper can't get there. Jean-Philippe Mateta with another goal in what has been a fantastic start to his Premier League campaign. Well, still leading by 1 at the break and looking to make it 4 unbeaten at the start of the Premier League campaign. Terrible tackle on Elise, that. But he does jump back up. I have upped the injury sliders slightly. We toned them down at the end of our previous career mode with Girona, as we had like 4 or 5 players out with broken toes all at the same time. But I have upped them for the start of this season here, just to get some more realistic injuries. Now Mateus Cunha. He is a danger. That's a good ball in behind Tyrick Mitchell to Pedro Neto. Mitchell gets back at him, crosses into the middle. Henderson gets there, makes a bit of a meal of it, and Joaquim Anderson is on hand to clear, still alive, and Mitchell does well to win it back. And now we come on the break. Good ball by Wharton into Eze, and couldn't get the ball to Tyrick Mitchell. Still very open this game at just 1-0. That's a nice build up. Trouble here, crosses into the back post. Lamina off the bench. Denied fantastically by Dean Henderson. Second big save of the game from the Englishman. And a corner for Wolves, swung into that near post, and Gehi does well to get something on it. But now Pedro Neto dispossessed by the debutant Whittaker. And there is the whistle here at Selhurst Park. Back-to-back clean sheets for Crystal Palace, and back-to-back 1-0 scorelines as well, as we defeat Gary O'Neill's side to continue our fantastic start to the campaign. 4 games played, 3 wins and 1 draw for the Eagles. A flying start, and keeping the games rolling here as we travel to Villa Park for what will be a very, very difficult test against Unai Emery's side. 3 wins in their first 4 themselves, as they look to make it into the Champions League as they did in real life. Come on, you Eagles. Underway here at Villa Park, and arguably our toughest game of the season so far. Oh, Ollie Watkins, what a run from kickoff. Yes, we faced Arsenal at Selhurst Park, but we know how good of a side Villa are building under Unai Emery, and it's been a positive start from them here, but Elise will win that back. I just want to say as well, heading into this game as I'm recording, there's a mad thunderstorm going on at the moment, so apologies if you do hear that in the audio, but it's been a brilliant start here from Villa, and Watkins looking to create a yard. Oh, what a ball, and it's a brilliant finish as well. Villa have come flying out of the blocks and take a deserved early lead. Eze swings the ball in. Dangerous ball. It's just over the head of Munoz. And, well, I think that's going to be our first injury there. And I think it might be Munoz who's hit the deck. And Munoz will clear down the line to Elise. Steps infield and finds Wharton. That's a good ball by Elise. Now it's on to Jean-Philippe Mateta. Defender comes across. Mateta beats him. Mateta! Right on the stroke of half-time. Crystal Palace level. And of course it's that man, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Second half underway. Fantastic time for us to score right on the stroke of the break. And we are still unbeaten this season. Looking to keep that record going here at Villa Park. One of the toughest grounds to visit in the Premier League. Is Mukhtar the goal scorer. Mark Guehi is with him. It's back to Matty Cash. This is nicely worked by Villa. Louise back to John McGinn on the edge, and Dean Henderson comfortable enough. Wharton, Doucouré, Mateta. Nice hold up. Mateta looks for Elise. Man on the edge is Eze! Oh, it's wide. Big chance to win it at the death. And Eze couldn't keep the shot on target. Decent point away at Villa Park. One of the tougher grounds to visit in the Premier League. And I would have taken it pre-game. And again, as I said when we drew with Arsenal, any points against the top six and the top sides in the Premier League should be considered a good point. On the road as well, away from Selhurst. That's a very solid point on the board for Palace. Well, as we see, the injury for Daniel Munoz was just thankfully a 5-day knock. He will start our next game, another London derby, as we host Fulham at Selhurst Park. Another game that I'm targeting at 3 points. Come on, you Eagles. Yeah, I'd say Fulham, similarly to us, are one of those sides that are just sort of like a solid Premier League team. They've got decent, solid Premier League standard players. They've got a couple of star players as well. Had a pretty decent season in real life. Again, they're generally sort of mid-table, but we want to kind of take that next step this year, so we need to make sure that we're picking up wins in these games. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a banker, but especially at home, these are the games that we need to be targeting all 3 points. Oh, that's a poor ball by Mateta. Rodrigo Muniz, the Brazilian, around the corner to Pereira, his compatriot. Oh, and Pereira skips away from Lerma, who can't get back. Big save by Dean Henderson. First chance of the game. It comes to the visitors, and Dean Henderson has to make a good stop. That's a dangerous ball, and this time Dean can't get gloves on it. João Palhinha wearing the armband for Fulham. He is their star man. Of course, moved on in real life now, so they will have to replace him this summer, but he's a fantastic holding midfielder, and he does pop up with a few goals, as he's done here to give Fulham the lead. Got goal side of his man and heads past Dean. 1-0 Fulham. We've not played particularly well today, but, you know, already this season there's been a few times we've been faced with adversity, we've been behind, we've been trailing, or we've been in a difficult position, and we've managed to find a way back into it. Still unbeaten. It's been a fantastic start, and I do feel confident that we will find a goal from somewhere. If we can get one right at the start of this second half, that would certainly help. Here's Ebere Eze, cuts in field. Eze shoots, and no penalty, and Eze stays down. Now that is a worry. Looks like he's in some pain, and yeah, quite a lot of pain for Eberechi Eze. And I have a feeling that that may be an ACL. That looked like a bad one. Well, we've lost one of our key men. We'll obviously have to wait until after the game to find out how bad that injury is. But we'll have to make do without Eze, at least for the rest of today, and potentially longer moving forward as well. And at the moment, just cannot build anything to try and find that equalising goal. I do see there being another one today. but I'm not sure which way it's going to go. Just under 20 minutes to play, and Fulham looking for that second, and they've got it. Rodrigo Muniz doubles up, and that will surely do it for Fulham. First loss of the season coming here at Selhurst Park. Well, it's all over here in South London. Disappointing result. First loss of the season coming at home to Marco Silva's side. They played better than us today. I'll be honest, they were the better team, and you will have seen that in the highlights package. We didn't really create anything and test Bernd Leno enough. Muniz sealed the victory for the Cottagers in the second half, and yeah, a deserved victory for Fulham. Well, before we head into this next one against Southampton, how bad is the injury for Eze? Okay, it's not an ACL, which I was worried about. It's a broken elbow, so could have been worse for Eze, but he will be out of action for 2 months. And that result there does see us drop to 7th in the table, but it's still been a pretty decent start for Palace. 11 points on the board from our opening 6 games. And as we jump into our next one here, the third round of the Carabao Cup against Championship side Southampton, looking to make it through to the 4th round of the competition. We've got a backup side out there. Can we progress against Russell Martin's side? Come on, you Eagles. Yeah, I mean, as I said when we faced Stevenage in the first round, this is the lowest of my priorities this season, and this Southampton side is basically a Premier League team. They've got a very, very solid team for the Championship, and they've got off to a good start as well. So again, I wouldn't be too surprised if we end up on the losing side tonight. Edouard finds Schlupp. We have had most of the ball in these early exchanges, still waiting for a real opportunity. Raksaki does well. There's Schlupp and Ozo from the edge. Oh, good chance for the young lad making his second start this season, both in this competition. But he fires it just wide of Alex McCarthy's post. Good chance, and we've been on top in this first half. Schlupp and forward to Raksaki. In behind the defence here. Raksaki looking to go all the way. Brilliant run by the youngster. And Jesserun Raksaki, oh, big save by Alex McCarthy. Corner for Will Hughes to swing in. It's a good one. Holding! And 2 of the experienced lads link up for the opening goal. Will Hughes into Rob Holding. And the former Arsenal man, free header. Cannot give a player of his experience that much room in the penalty area. Guides his header over the top of Alex McCarthy, and just as we approach the hour mark, Palace have the lead. Oh, Edouard. Oh, should be a second goal here. Edouard nicks it, and surely will finish. Odds on Edouard for 2. Easiest goal we'll score all season long. Southampton sleeping from the kickoff. Palace with a second. Put us in the hat for the 4th round. Well, there is the whistle here at Selhurst Park. Back to winning ways, albeit in the Carabao Cup, into the 4th round of the competition. And if we continue to get lucky with the draw and face EFL sides, then I might start taking it a little bit more seriously as we enter the latter stages of the competition. Slightly more comfortable than our previous fixture against Stevenage, but back-to-back clean sheets in this competition for Johnston. And the backup brigade continue to find a way. Let's go and see who it is we will face. Right, so before this big game against Manchester United away at Old Trafford, we'll find out who we'll face in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. And it's Norwich City, this time away from home, but another EFL side. And there are still quite a few in the competition. North London derby there between Arsenal and Spurs, but a chance to make it into the quarter-finals here. Norwich away at Carrow Road. And that clash against Norwich will come in the next episode. But to close out today, we've got a big trip to Old Trafford to take on Manchester United. Currently, they sit in 6th. We are sat in 7th. So if we are going to push for European football this season, if we can pick up a point on the road at Old Trafford, it will be considered a fantastic point. Come on, you Eagles. Yeah, first league game without Everechi Eze, this one. Given away straight from kickoff. He's out for Morgan Whittaker, who I've given the nod. We've got quite a few options in those areas, so happy to rotate and give people a chance. Mateus France's had quite a lot of football in the early stages. We've got the experience of Jordan Ayew, but I've gone for Morgan Whittaker, of course. He's my signing. I brought him in the summer transfer window, so happy to give him some minutes in the absence of Eze. It's a good move this by Palace. Cut back to Mateta, who got hold of it but fires off target. Well, second half underway here. By no means a classic, this one. Very few chances, but decent to still be tied at 0-0. And we've had a couple of little half chances and moments that we've not been able to capitalise on. But the main thing is we've kept Manchester United quiet going the other way. So still deadlocked at 0-0. I do expect there to be a goal at some point, but not sure which way it's going to go. Luke Shaw available down the left. This is the last chance for United. Correa on the spin runs into Anderson, and that is going to do it. Poor game here at Old Trafford. I said I would have taken a point pre-game, and as against Arsenal and Aston Villa at Villa Park, I will take the point. It's against the top sides that in this first season especially, we have to respect the point. We're not at the stage yet where we can go to the likes of Manchester United and Villa and expect to win every game. So a very solid point. You know what, guys, as that last game was so poor against Man United, we'll squeeze one more into the episode. We host Nottingham Forest, who are currently sat in 17th place, just one win on the board and sat just outside of the relegation zone. This game definitely has to be a banker if we're to try and compete for European football this season. Final game of the episode. Come on, you Eagles. Yeah, Forest, one of those teams down towards the bottom of the table in the opening stages, and whoever goes down this year, I definitely think we're going to take a look at some of the relegated players. It's one thing I like to do, especially in a Premier League RTG, is look at those players that have been relegated, the ones that you think would probably want a return to the top flight. Maybe not the most like star players in the team, as they may be poached by, as France fires off target. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, the absolute stars may be poached by sort of top six or European sides, but you know, there's certain players that when a team goes down, you think, yeah, okay, they'd want to return to the top flight, and I think we definitely will be looking for some of those. Gibbs White, nice flick. Dominguez shoots and it's blocked, but it was only as far as Callum Hudson-Odoi, the former Chelsea man. Oh, brilliant turn! It's going to be one. Absolutely turned me inside and out, and I've just not been good enough in the last few games. We had that loss to Fulham. Okay, the point at Old Trafford is decent, but another game where we didn't score, and now just 18 minutes in here, we go a goal down to Nuno's side. Henderson looks to go early to Mateta. Really good from our number 14. And Mateta, the Frenchman. I see you, Elise. I see you, Michael. On the weaker right foot. Denied by Matt Sales. First chance we've created other than the early effort from Mateus France. Elise will swing the corner in. It's a good ball. Looking for Mateta, and Matt Sales is there again. Elise comes over to the other side to take the corner and finds Mateta. And it's the two Frenchmen linking up. Jean-Philippe Mateta heads home. I think that's goal number 5 of the season. Been a fantastic start for him. And with Eze down, we are looking to these two. Elise to Mateta. Palace back on level terms. Still deadlocked here as Hughes finds Mateus France. Been quiet in this second half. Now it's Tyrick Mitchell. Can we find a late winner? France down the left. Swings the cross in. Mateta on the spin! Mateta at the double. Crystal Palace surely win it late. And of course it's that man, Jean-Philippe Mateta, with another goal. France does well to get his cross into the middle, takes a slight nick, and Mateta on the spin. Well, it's the power that beats the Belgian Matt Sales. Doesn't take a nick off anyone, no, just straight in, but the Belgian, deceived by the power, And another for Mateta. Well, it is all over here at Selhurst Park, and we will end the episode with the win against Nuno's side. Had to come from behind to do so, but Crystal Palace returning to winning ways after no wins in our last 2 league outings. Much better way to end the episode, and of course it's Jean-Philippe Mateta with another 2 goals in what has been a fantastic start to the season for the Frenchman. And guys, this time we will leave it there. Crystal Palace into the top 8. You can see it's very, very congested from 3rd place down. Liverpool and Manchester City both 8 wins from 8 and running away with things at the top. We're not worried about that at the moment in this first season. If we can finish in the top 7, it will be considered a fantastic campaign for the Eagles. We'll be back in the next episode where we're going to cram in loads and loads of games, part 1 of Sloggy season, as I want to get through this first season very quickly. But guys, that will do it for today. I'll catch you in the next episode very soon, and peace.